Hey folks, and welcome to Drinking Alone with Friends, a podcast where three friends drink alone together. My name's Chris.
What up? It's Tud.
And I'm Obert, here on the second to last, penultimate episode of Drinking Alone with Friends.
Yep.
That's it. It's over.
It's weird.
It is weird. It is weird. We were just talking about it. I was, you know what? Let me see. I have not checked our very real mailbag in a while.
Oh yeah, we got to get through that mail quick.
I know. Well, apparently nobody loves us. So, you know, I don't want to start off putting our listeners on blast, but here
Listen, we don't have to answer the really old mail anymore. We just burn them. We can finally light a fire.
Finally.
It's true.
Yeah.
No, part of the reason I wanted to wait to announce it was because I knew that every show after we announced it, we would open exactly this way. So, just talking about how the show's ending. But it's a lot of pressure on tonight's beers, I got to say.
It's true.
You know, I know personally, there's some beers that you buy and you save for a special day. You don't know if that day's going to come, what it's going to be. And you're like, this will be on the podcast eventually. Well, we're at the point now where there's not many eventuallys left. You gotta step up this week. I feel like it's the big leagues. It's the finale, the home stretch.
I know
of beers.
It's yeah, definitely. I feel like I'm going to let people down.
I will say that I have a for each of the next two episodes. Two. That's all. That's what we have left. Two. I have
There's one and one more.
I have a face your beer for each episode on top of the beer I'm going to drink. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
Figure we would.
That's exciting. Yeah.
Roll out, with a bang, and hopefully at some point throw up, because I figure that's probably the most important part.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah. I bringing the show back to its roots. I like it. Yeah. I'm curious. The most drunk that any of us got on a recording, what episode it was. We'll never know. But there's definitely some that I think we got a little sloshed.
Definitely before my bachelor party at Chris's house, we drank a lot.
Yeah. I was thinking of the episode where we had the blind Bud Light taste test.
Before my wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely know there was been a few recordings where I was drinking like most of the day and then came on recorded. And those have been, but it's been a while. I would describe those as pretty Chris Light episodes. It was like I go to edit those and there's like 20 minutes of no noise at all on that track. And then I'm like, do you agree, Chris? And that'll rouse him. Yep.
Episode 100, we drank a lot during that one. That was a long episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a long episode. But
so because you're
if only we had a historian.
Double. Yeah, I know. Next podcast we do. We're gonna recruit a historian from day one.
Yeah, we're just gonna appoint someone.
Yeah. What do you guys think your next podcast is going to be about?
Ooh, it's a good question. I've always had like a want to like do a wrestling podcast. Not that I watch it as much as I used to, but I always what I wanted to do is like there's a lot of lists you can look at, but there's like a list of like the 100 matches you should watch before you die or something like that. And I thought it would be interesting to like watch those, then like kind of talk about it.
Maybe I like that. I would
beer is involved.
Sponsor that podcast.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
we got a backer. Let's go.
What are we calling it though? I'm sure there's so many wrestling puns that are already podcasts.
Probably
wrestling alone with friends.
The love knows, but
drinking alone with wrestlers. Wait, I don't know. We'll have to think about it. I know there is a podcast that's perfect that it ties in beer and wrestling. I don't know if it's still active, but it was called Off the Hop Rope, and I thought that was really good.
That's a good name.
That's a really good name.
Pretty solid pun.
If it's not active, I may have to steal that for my spin-off podcast that will ultimately start eventually.
I do think 3 is the ideal number of hosts for a podcast. After doing it with 3 for so long.
Yeah.
So I think what you need one wrestling expert who has like watched every single match start to finish. And maybe someone who's like from an older generation,
Okay.
Who's seen, the early era of wrestling.
Okay.
And then you need you who's like the guy in the middle.
Yep.
Who's like knows enough. And then you need someone like me who has no idea what's going on in wrestling to stand in front of the audience to be like, hey, so who is this Mr. Hogan? And you could explain all of it to the know-nothing layman of the episode, right?
That's a good idea.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just need an older person that knows a lot about wrestling. Maybe I can get Hulk. Maybe Hulk is available. I mean, he's not doing much right now.
Maybe The Rock will co-host with
you. He might. He owes me a favor, and he knows why.
Well, we are The Rock's daddy, so clearly, if you remember.
Very true. Very true.
Right. Or Dwayne, as we call him.
Yes. Oprah, what about you? What's your next podcast?
Well, I did have an idea with Blevin a while ago.
Oh.
Where it would be a music history podcast about the music that he likes, where he would like find some monumental thing in music history, whether it's like a concert or an album or whatever. And me, who has no knowledge of music whatsoever, can just sit there and like, he can explain what makes the music so good and why it's so important. And we listen to it and then review it and critique it. And I like this because I don't have to do any of the work. I just show up and I'm like, what are we going to listen to today? And what are you going to tell me about? And then he does all the rest of the work.
So
that's pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought Blevin's favorite music was like Gregorian chants, like the worst music on the face of the planet.
It is. Yeah. It's all, we would get no listens. It's, it's Gregorian chants and Screamo. Yeah.
Okay.
And like dial-up modem sounds, I think is also one of his favorite genres.
Interesting.
Now, what about you, Todd? What's your next podcast venture?
Yeah, so I got a really good podcast idea. It's where three friends, they get together once a week and they drink beers and they review them.
See, that's not where I thought you were going to go. I thought you were just going to make drinking alone. I really thought that was going to be the podcast.
So my first idea in my head was to just Todd goes on rants, like just an angry man yells at cloud.
Yeah.
But I felt like saying our podcast was more comic relief. So
it's fair. But no, I know the podcast that you've always really secretly wanted to make is Old Man Yells at Cloud. Todd drinks and like Alex Jones into a microphone. And just, you don't know where it's going to end up when you start, but there'll be some yelling involved.
Yeah,
I think that was always kind of what you wanted.
If I had a really good Alex Jones impression, this would be where I would start yelling about like the frogs being gay and stuff like that. Like, but I can't make my voice that raspy, unfortunately, anymore. So yeah, that's out.
They're putting hops in the water and it's making the frogs drunk.
Goddamn Brewers.
I really thought Todd was going to go fantasy football there. But.
See, I always thought that we kind of sound a little like the fantasy footballers, if you guys ever listen to that podcast. So it's kind of hard to kind of jump into that medium when, like, I feel like there's already three guys that do it really well.
It's a saturated market, you know?
Yeah. And, like, I don't think anybody wants to hear me drone on by myself about fantasy football. I could do a combination of all of it, do wrestling, music, and fantasy football while I also yell about things that piss me off and drink beer.
Yeah, and the beer reviews. Don't forget those.
Yeah, just the name of the podcast would just be Tud.
Just Tud.
It's the one-man band of podcasts. It really is, you know?
Just the Tud Show.
Yeah. I could see you certainly being enthusiastic about making it. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I have no clue when it comes to, like...
No editing.
There would be no editing. In my podcast, we would do no editing.
No, you would hit stop. You'd hit stop and then export to MP3 and then upload to the cloud.
Immediately
correct. There'd be no editing. It'd be just as it came. If I got up to go get another beer out of the fridge, there'd be like a 2-minute just blank space. Absolutely no editing. I'd have to start bringing a cooler with me next to me. That way I could pull beers out actively while recording.
See, now you're just describing streaming.
That's just true.
You could just do one of the just chatting channels on Twitch.
You could.
But you know what? Ted couldn't do that because he could not handle the trolls and the live feedback from the chatters.
I would get into arguments.
Get you off your game too much.
That's true. You just talk. It'd be so. Tud has no one watching him because he won't talk to anybody. He's just yelling at the internet.
Just yelling into the void.
Someone's going to hear this.
Now we know what Ted's doing every Monday from now on.
Yep, that's right.
Can I swear?
Find him only at
Yeah, you can swear. As long as you
Oh,
mark yourself appropriately, you have to mark yourself as non-family friendly. But that's going to
Can
be
I
smart
talk about
anyway.
conspiracy theories?
You can talk about whatever you want.
Oh. Listen, audience.
Free speech.
I'm not saying it's going to be your speed,
Well, I
but
thought this was America.
we might do this.
We? I am not involved in this project whatsoever.
We might do this.
The end of every
Don't
stream.
associate me with this.
The end of every stream, he's going to put up a special thanks to executive producer Obert.
Endorsed. All opinions and views here have been endorsed by Oprah explicitly.
I'm going to actually use your real name, and then I'm going to put your address and your phone number. Like,
There we
direct
go.
all
Any feedback?
direct all comments.
There we go. Well, you are drinking 2 beers tonight, Todd.
I
So I
am.
think it's only fair that you start us off.
Okay.
Agreed.
So,
Now, what are you going to do, though? Are you going to face your beers first and then have a nice little treat afterwards? Or start with the good beer and then cleanse your mouth with the mystery?
no, I'm definitely going to do the mystery or the face your beers first because I don't know if these are even really drinkable.
Oh,
So
boy.
I'm going to give you guys, I'm going to let you guys vote. Do you want the newer one or the older
No.
one?
Yeah, the older one. That's scarier.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Wait, do we get to know the types?
I can tell you the types. Older is a red ale. Newer is a stout.
Okay. Now we have to think about it this way. Do we want, because I'm leaning newer only because that means the older one is for our last episode.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if the other one was coming on the show at all or not.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no,
that's
I'm gonna use them both.
Okay.
Okay.
Whatever we don't use today, we'll use next time.
All right, then. I don't know. What do you think?
I say we go newer and then save the older
save
one.
the red ale for the finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So starting off first is the quote unquote new Face Your Beer, and this is not going to be on Untapped because it's a beer that I brewed.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
Okay.
And I actually believe Chris helped me brew this beer
Oh, okay.
in the basement of Ben's house.
Is it the vanilla one? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Okay.
So that was years ago.
It was a long time ago.
This is. I think Chris, you still were living in Connecticut, right?
Yeah, I must have been. Yeah, I think the last time I brewed was at your now house when I visited Connecticut a long time ago.
Same here.
Obert, this beer, you'll remember this beer I think the last time you brewed a beer with me, I gave you a bottle of this. And as you were flying back to Montana, it exploded.
In my luggage?
Yes. Or no, I think you brought it to your parents' house and it exploded at your parents' house.
That's right. Yeah, never made it. It never made it out of the state, I guess.
Yeah. So recently, I don't know. We never talked about this. So obviously, so listeners, I'm expecting my first child in May.
What? No way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, you could do the math.
So I had to start cleaning out my beer closet upstairs. As we all know,
slash nursery.
That's where the babies go to the closet.
So my wife said that I could no longer keep beer in the baby's the future baby's closet. So I had to clean all that beer out. So I wanted to save one of these, but I had a shit ton of these bottles. I was never really going to drink them because it was just so far down my list, but I wanted to save one. So I figured this is the good time to do it. Hopefully this bottle
is this the last one you have?
It's the last one. That's it.
Oh, at the end of an era.
Yeah. It's time to have a baby. That means get rid of all the home brews. That time of your life is done.
No,
now
I'm
it's
still
just
going to
babies.
homebrew, but this is the last beer I also bottled. I just don't bottle beer anymore. It's
Right.
too much of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So it's in the Sam Adams bottle that
it didn't explode?
It did not explode.
Wow, okay.
It is carbonated, though. We did hear the hiss.
It was carbonated. So let's see.
And remind us again, this is a red ale or is this a stout?
This is a stout. It's a vanilla stout.
Oh, okay.
Um,
What did you think of it when you brewed it?
I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was
Yeah.
overly good.
Yeah, I agree. I think because we added the vanilla beans after it was fermenting, right? I don't think we did it during the.
Correct.
Yeah. But yeah, it was
Madagascar
it was-
vanilla beans.
Yeah, it was all right. Not the best beer.
No, for
I
sure
mean,
not.
if it was, Todd wouldn't have, a case of bottles in this
That's also true.
baby's
yeah.
closet.
As I'm pouring it, obviously it's very foamy.
Oh, wow.
So like
Crisp pour for anyone listening.
It is.
it's not a crisp pour. I poured it like a proper Tud pour, and it just foamed up.
That's what happens to me every time.
Yeah.
On the bottle,
50% beer.
So you guys, I don't know if you guys can see this on the camera. On the bottle, see that little thing right there, right below my thumb. So these bottles, some of them, as I noticed when I pulled the box out, some of them had exploded. So that is a piece of glass embedded into this glass from another bottle.
Oh, nice.
That's funny.
No label, just a plain brown bottle. I thought Ted was going to be like, see, this is like the date I wrote on here. Nope. This is a shard of glass to remind me that I brewed this beer.
Yep. Yeah, it's just a shard of glass embedded into the bottle. This head is not going anywhere, so we're just going to have to move forward with calling a spade here and just drinking it. So now the shark is here.
Face your beers.
Face your beers.
Not that we haven't been talking about it for 20 minutes, but
this came out of
we
nowhere.
need to wait for the shark to show up.
Yeah.
He's attracted by the scent of very old homebrew poured in a glass. So it didn't matter how much you talked about it. So you cracked it open. He wasn't showing up.
yeah, it's like blood in the water. Like, we just chummed it up for him.
Yeah.
On the nose, it smells like a stout. I don't think it smells like a particularly good stout. Smells like a stout that you get from a cheap brewery. Has a little bit of hints of vanilla on the front. Maybe a little, kind of toasty. I remember it being very toasty and very vanilla-y. Chris, I don't know if you remember that far back, but it's many, many beers ago.
Yeah, I remember it. If I'm not mistaken, I remember it being lighter than I would have wanted it to be. Like it wasn't like heavy stoutiness, but it did
More
have
on the porter side of things.
Yeah. But I do remember the vanilla was pretty strong. But it's been years, so
I got to use a tip from back in my college drinking days.
Kill the head with your beer pong cups.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't done this in forever.
So funny. I was talking to some friends the other day, a little younger than myself, and they were horrified and disgusted to learn that we played beer pong with beer. I was like, yeah, that's just what you did. It was like,
built
you
different.
didn't think twice about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
you had
be
a
fair,
rinse cup,
Once we thought about it, we also stopped playing with beer.
True. We did end up going to water eventually, but we did start with beer for sure.
Yeah. Well, beer's a better incentive because, the faster you win, the less beer you have to drink.
True.
This
right?
is
It's
true.
just in the cups in front of you.
And you had the water cup to hit the ball in,
Right. You had the rinse cup.
Yeah. So it's fine.
Yeah, that clearly killed all the germs.
Yeah, it's fine.
Of our disgusting college dorm rooms that we never washed the floor of.
It's fine.
Yeah, I remember
All right.
they would ask if I had a vacuum, and I said, "This is linoleum."
They play flip cup, right? Like, I know flip cup's a little different, but still, like.
But you can't play flip cup without but nothing's going into those cups. You know what
true.
I mean?
That's true. But the cups are touching. I don't know. Okay.
You
It's
can
not
wipe the
as
table
bad.
down though.
It's not as bad as beer pong.
Like Ober, how many times do you think you and Ben cleaned your table in Mansfield?
Like in anticipation of beer pong, I think it's not the
just
table.
in general.
It's the grimy floor that the ball rolls down and ends up under a radiator.
We've already established that your floor was disgusting. I want to know
Sure.
how often did you clean the table?
Well, there was a period of time where we had a standing beer pong game set up, like on the table for like several weeks. Might answer your question?
There you go. We actually had like one of those like official beer pong tables at one point, and it was full of water because we had killed all the beer. But we had a game we invented a game called Lightning Round, where you had the cups set up in like the shape of a lightning bolt, and you had to hit the cups in order from front to back. And if you missed, you had to go back to the beginning.
Sounds like a long game.
It does not sound like lightning at all.
Yeah.
Let's dive into this beer. Let's cheers.
Yeah, that was a good time killer while your head died down.
Oh, I actually don't want to drink this. It smells like bad decisions and regret.
Sure, the beer pong talk definitely helped bring up some of those memories.
All right, so it's not good. It's not bad.
great.
It's not the worst beer I've ever had.
Better than bad.
Definitely,
It's good.
put it this way: it's better than the brewery that shall not be named on the podcast and also powder hollow.
Okay.
I'll take
You
it.
wouldn't send this back if you went to a microbrewery or like a beer bar with like 60 beers on tap and you got this one. You wouldn't be like, I'm sending this back.
I mean, I've never really sent a beer back in my life for the most part, so no. But I would not be happy that I had a whole pour of this.
Right.
It's very, I guess there's like no depth of character to it. It's just toasted malt vanilla.
Just dirty
That's
water
it.
at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of got a little bit of an, like, I wouldn't say an off flavor, but it needs something. I don't know if it needs lactose. I don't know if it needs
Probably better brewers, if we're being.
I was gonna say short of a better brewer.
I think I know what it needs, and that's 7 years less in the time chamber here. I mean, think about it. Any of those depths of flavors, I'm surprised you're still tasting the vanilla.
You think this is 7 years old? I was thinking more like
No,
9 or 10.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you could age a beer for 1-2 years, sure. But like at this point, this beer is a decade old. Like the fact that you even tasting the vanilla flavors is impressive.
And that, I think that kind of points out with how vanilla-y it was to begin with. To be honest, I didn't know what I was doing when I was doing this. And I added in 5 or 6 whole vanilla beans. So it was very vanilla-y. So it's still to this day, it's a dominant flavor of this beer is vanilla bean. I am actually shocked that it doesn't taste like sour. It doesn't taste off, which I should be proud of all these years later. Chris, good job. We did not fuck that up. So we properly sanitized all our equipment, which is good.
Yay.
It's very carbonated, which is good. I didn't expect that to be a thing. More so on the Barreled Souls carbonation scale than even like a normal beer. So that would explain why Obert's bottle exploded.
Yeah, we saw based on that head that there's no lack of carbonation.
Yeah, so maybe it's a little bit too much bottling sugar. But overall, not terrible. I mean, if I was going to give it an Untapped rating, I'd probably still give it like a 2.75. Like it's not the worst beer. If I told people it was like the 4th beer I ever brewed, probably acceptable in that regard. I would like to try to brew another stout now that I'm more experienced and see how it comes out. But you guys will never know.
No, they won't.
And neither
I'll know.
will we.
I'll know.
I won't.
But you're brewing that Dark Star clone, right?
It's on the list. I still have a
Don't worry.
whole.
You'll have plenty of free
still have a
time
quarter
once
of a
the
keg.
baby comes.
Yeah, I hear. I hear I'll have tons of free time.
They're very hands off.
Not only that, but you'll have hours of uninterrupted time.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Where you can dedicate to a brew.
Yeah, but that is what it is. 2.75, good beer, not great.
Okay.
All right.
Well, the 3 other check-ins here. I'm wondering if I've had this beer before. I don't know. I must have at some point, but
I don't think so. I think we bottled it right before you guys moved away.
Were you living in that house when I moved away? I guess you were. Yeah. I was thinking like that one time I came over to play Pathfinder in that basement.
I think it was still fermenting at that point.
Oh, was it?
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So it is like 7 years old then.
Did you buy your house after we moved away?
Yes.
Okay. Then yeah, it probably was like
I lived in Ben's house up until 2019, and then we moved when Ben came back, and we moved into an apartment in Manchester for a hot second. And these beers followed me there, and then we moved into this house. So, and to be perfectly honest, I don't think I had many of these. I think I drank like 3 or 4 of them, and I was like, all right, it's okay.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you're like, I'll come back to this. And then the longer that you have it, the less you want to drink it. And you have so many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was in the Tud's beer maximum accumulation phase, would like to say, when growlers lined the kitchen and
good times.
Yeah, you were in Tud's beer experimentation phase, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah. I could safely say I've cut down on my buying of beer. I still have a lot of beer, but it's cut down.
One New Year's goal that you've accomplished.
True. On top of the fact that I just threw out a whole bunch, like all these beers that I had because it's just like, I'm not going to have them. So,
yeah, they're also not making as much good beer, I have to say. They've slowed down on making better new beer out there.
The breweries, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
all right, that's my beer.
All that talk of vanilla sure has got me thirsty.
All those shark attacks.
No, yeah, all that chum in the water sure has got me thirsty. Now, as I kind of alluded to, it's intro here. It's like our days are numbered. If you got them, might as well drink them. I think that's how the saying goes. So this is from in the recesses of the beer cabinet. It's been aging. I'm like, got to put this one in the fridge today. This is a nice bomber from Thirsty Street for some lousy smarch weather we got outside. Because right now in Montana, one day it'll be snowing. The next day it'll be like 60. And I figured when you have that kind of combination of weather, what better beer to drink than a sour stout ale, which is something I've never tried before.
Okay.
Maybe we got to invite the shark back. But,
almost what I thought this beer was going to taste like that I'm drinking now.
Yeah. It's called Badass. It's from Thirsty Street. There's a cool picture of a bison on there. You'll notice the Badass is an acronym.
Mm-hmm.
There's little periods between the letters here. And the acronym stands for Barrel Aged Double American Sour Stout. It's a mixed culture sour stout ale aged in oak foeder. So let's crack this sucker open. Oh, explosion.
Oh no.
My beer exploded. I did the classic rookie move of trying to put my thumb on top. That just makes it worse.
Yeah, you got to put your whole palm.
I even got beer on my work backpack, so that's not a good look. Okay, I'm going to need 2 minutes. Okay, I'm back after a slight intermission to quickly mop the beer off my floor. Yeah, boy, that beer was very carbonated. I didn't lose too much, fortunately.
Very ironic that your beer exploded and mine did not.
Me too. Yeah, it's not nearly as old, and it's a lot more professionally brewed. But I have to say, pretty good aroma. Right when I opened the bottle, very strong sour aroma. But it does smell like a dark beer too. I get some dark cherry flavor aromas maybe, but also maybe a chocolate covered dark cherry. So without further ado, I'm going to dive in here. Cheers.
I like beer. It makes me a jolly good fellow. I like beer. It helps me unwind, and sometimes it makes me feel mellow. Makes him feel mellow.
So on the sour to dark scale, or sour to stout scale, that's a fun one to say. I have to say this leans way more sour than stout, which I think is a good thing. I think a beer that's a little dark but mostly sour is better than a beer that's mostly stout and a little bit sour. Quite the apple pucker on the sour scale, actually.
Really?
Yeah, this thing is definitely a sour. Very little dark at all other than the color, but hardly any stout influence. Maybe if I really dig deep, I can find something, but no, it just tastes like those aromas I described to you of that kind of like a sour cherry, maybe. What are some other stone fruits, perhaps? Some currant. It smells more chocolatey than it tastes. I don't really get a ton of the dark flavors, but I do get more of the dark malt aromas. Really interesting combo, though. I got to give Thirsty Street credit for trying it, and you could see when after, 250 something episodes of the show, I was like, here's a beer I haven't tried before, It's like that horse of a different color in The Wizard of Oz. Like at this point, we've been doing the show. I just got to find something new to drink, I just got to bring a different beer on this show. So I think this accomplished that. Not that long. Less than a year. I want to say molasses because it smells like a little bit of toasted sugar maybe. But the sourness just so overwhelms any sweetness that you would get from a darker beer. This could do with, I don't know, maybe that would ruin it if you tried to make it more of a molassesy or a maple or some kind of a darker flavor than it really is. But this thing is good. I don't know if it lives up to the promise of a sour stout ale, but maybe it didn't have to. Maybe just the color and the way they brewed it is enough to get me to buy it. And I'm not regretting drinking it. It falls in line with most other sours I've had. I think I've had a sour or two from Thirsty Street and they're pretty good. It's not easy to brew a good sour. So props to you, Thirsty Street. 4.0.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've got some good news for you. There's not a lot of check-ins.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
There's only 131 check-ins.
More than I would have guessed in the double digits, to be honest. So, first guess of the podcast. Interesting. We're 40 minutes in, at least recording time. How many check-ins? 130?
131.
This one's befuddling me. It could be anywhere. It really could. I don't know Thirsty Streep's hop hype. I really want to believe, but I could also see this people not being impressed. It's really tough. Can you give me a hint?
Between 0 and 5.
Does it go blank dot blank blank?
Ooh, that's too much info.
Yeah. Asking if there's a dot in there is really a lot of questioning.
Starts with
fair.
a 1.
That's fair. I'm going to go with a 3.99.
Ooh, that's a good guess. I'm here for it.
So you're very close. You're not 100% right.
Okay.
3.95.
Oh, wow.
I will take that. I would gladly take that.
That's solid.
Yeah. I was going to go the old standby, the Montana 4.06. Glad I'd rounded down the half a point to get within 0.04 on the board.
And it's described as whiskey barrel-aged double American sour stout, a paradox of flavors with balanced notes of whiskey oak and malty roasted sourness, medium to heavy body with a hint of sour cherry on the aftertaste.
Yeah. I didn't describe the oakiness. I didn't get a ton. I mean, it does say aged in oak foeder, but with the sour, sometimes I feel like it's so hard to get that whiskey. I don't know. I'll take another step when I think now that I've heard that. Okay, a very faint, a slint, as Chris might say, a slint of whiskey, but it's a slint of a slint. It really is. You really got to reach for it. Maybe as it warms up, which again, I do have a whole 750 here. So I'll be with you all night, folks. Okay. But I feel good about that. 0.04. I'm writing it down on the board. Who's up next?
All right. So I'll go next. Continuing on my over 3 months of no alcohol. I'm like, I have an inner battle with myself. I'm like, we only have this episode and the next one left. It's like, do I just break out some of the big guns?
In case of emergency, break sobriety here.
In case of podcast ending, maybe write it in your tear-soaked letters that you send to us. Let me know. Take a vote. Should I entertain some beer for the last episode?
You're with tear-proof ink, though.
Yes. Make sure it's yeah. I want to see the teardrops, but I want no words running down the no ink running.
I gotta say though, if you can withstand the temptation to crack one on this episode of the next one, then I don't see what could ever tempt you again. Honestly, like at that point, the coast is clear.
That's true.
I can't think of a greater reason to want to drink than being on this podcast.
Especially the last
in
one.
any walk of life.
I mean, that's true, but also doesn't take much to sell me on stuff. So
that's a good point.
But I decided we kind of talked about it a little bit, but the beer from Bureau that I have not had yet, I decided to bring this week, and this is the Kingston Golden Pills. So just for the listeners, I know you guys remember that I enjoyed the IPA. I enjoyed the IPA quite a bit. Untapped did not. And I also enjoyed their Noon Wheat, which is not on the podcast, but I've not had this one yet. So we're going to see what it's about. Let's see. Well, it looks like a pills. This is definitely one of those beers that you're like, I don't know what to say about it. But smells like a pills. Kind of has that Bud Lighty smell. Maybe a little bit heavier than that. So, but yeah,
perhaps even a Budweiser smell.
Maybe, who knows?
We've never had one, so we'll never know.
Blue cans only. But anywho, we're gonna go ahead and see what this is like. I've enjoyed them so far, but we'll see see how their pills line sizes up. There you go.
Titties beer, just the thing to get you grinning ear to ear. Whether you're from the country or the big old city, one thing for sure, everybody loves titties.
It's not good, guys.
I'm sorry. I wish I was more surprised.
Yeah,
I guess
this one is not good.
I think the lighter the beer, the harder to make it alcohol free.
They always say the hardest beer to brew is like a Bud Light. So
yeah, that's what everybody says.
But you have on your stream, maybe I shouldn't pull back the curtain too much, but I know you've had NA like Budweiser's, right?
I have, yeah. And I mean, those
And
don't.
those aren't terrible.
To be fair, maybe I'll crack one. I have one in my fridge. To be fair, I don't know if I've ever had one long enough to taste it. Like, I don't know if that.
Okay,
I don't know
they're
if that,
just chugging beers.
yeah. I don't know if that makes sense.
Maybe you need to chug this one.
I can do it. Tell me, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I think only if you can give us the spiel though.
the magic is gone. I mean, it's
True. Oh, yeah, I can get, the spiel that okay, for those of you new to the channel, my name is Beer Dad. Not only am I a streamer, father, podcaster, TikTok viralist, Instagram influencer, Twitter savant, hover partner, Jason Momoa lookalike, father of Doctor, I feel like Time Traveler was in there. I always kind of fall apart at the end. But I'm also a magician, and one of my greatest tricks, my grand finale, the reason people keep coming back is that I can make beer disappear. So, thanks to the podcast for existing.
Here.
So, cheers.
a little bit slower in his old age.
This
That was
glass,
pretty good. I gotta say.
this glass is not made for chugging. But this is one of the worst NA beers I've had. Like in my what? I'm supposed to be.
No, I just want to know, like, is it better chugged?
Oh. I mean, yeah, because you don't really taste it as much. Like, just kind of.
Okay, but I mean, when you chug that compared to your NA buds.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, now you have an empty glass too. You can go get an NA Bud out of the fridge.
I'm gonna have to now. Let me get through this real quick because this is not very good. I definitely you can't hide as much in these beers. Like, I mean, I don't get any crispness. When I think of like a Pils, like I want that like nice, crisp, like refreshing, like just taste. And this is like kind of on the heavy side. It's almost like like a little metallic, which is weird. Like, I don't know how to, like, it just is not great. Like I get some of the malt, like it's just not good. And I hate to say it, but it just isn't. Comparative to the other two, the noon wheat and the IPA, which I enjoyed both of those. This one is a definite letdown, which is unfortunate because I was looking forward to trying it. Like, it's not disgusting. Like, it's not like it's not a drain pour. But it definitely is a letdown. I'm gonna give this. I'm like trying to think because I like if I got a Pilsner that tasted like that, I wouldn't send it back, but I also wouldn't enjoy it. I would begrudgingly drink it. So I'm gonna say 1.5. Like jumped out at me at first, and I think that's probably fair. That's probably about fair for me.
That is fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, based on what you're describing.
Yeah.
It just, even if there was alcohol in it, you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. If this had alcohol in it, the only thing that would make it better is the alcohol.
Okay, so not a ton of check-ins.
Okay.
468.
468?
Correct.
Damn. Okay. This has to be just drugged through the mud. Like, I can't imagine it has a good rating. I don't know if it'll quite be. I don't think it'll be as low as me. I don't think Untapped averages go that low. It just
Yeah, the 1.5.
Yeah, I don't think they generally go to 1.5, but I can't imagine this is even above 2.5. Like, I can't. But I'm shooting fish in a barrel right now. I'm just gonna go 222. 222 is my guess. 4.67.
Well,
It'd be great if you lost a point, though.
I'm actually thinking of like
somebody's got to lose a point.
It's gonna be close, probably.
we have one episode left for somebody to lose a point. It did not happen tonight.
All right, so far.
Damn.
But
so far,
you are very close to losing a
Really?
point with 3.18.
what? Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh, so close, so close.
So this might be a classic #Untapped is wrong experience, but I gotta know. I think we need to do the full review on the Bud Zero.
Okay.
And do you think we'll have to get at the end what's going to be higher the Bureau or the Buddo. And if you agree or not, because I have a feeling that Bud Zero is going to taste better and have a worse rating.
You know what? You might be right. That does sound like this wasn't a Pils.
What Untapped would do.
Like this was not a Pils though. Like this was I don't know. Like this was like going to be like a Buddo, you know? Like it wasn't like I don't know. There's a difference between like, you know, when you think of like a Pilsner, like to me, and maybe it's not, a Pils and a Pilsner are not the same. Like
really?
To me, they're not.
Interesting. I always assumed the Pils was just short for Pilsner.
Yeah, me too.
I'm curious now.
But it's possible that Pilsner is English and German, the word is Pils. Or like, you know what I mean? Like Pils is like a Belgian word that the English word is Pilsner, you know? And they're like, oh, well, this is a Belgian style Pilsner is called a Pils.
You're close. Yes. It's actually often used interchangeably, but Pilsner is more common and refers to a type of pale lager beer originated from the Czech city of Pilsen, while Pils is a shortened version often used in German and also refers to the same beer style. So I guess they are the same.
Oh, okay.
That was a weird way to...
So they are the same.
Thanks, AI.
That's such a chat GPT answer.
That's funny because like I definitely, when I think of Pils, I think of like, and maybe I'm just like, I think of something with like sharper. It has like a, like maybe like a different hop profile to it, but maybe I'm just crazy. It's also possible. All this non-alcohol,
You might be right.
all this non-alcohol going in my head.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to see the back-to-back.
You want me to go again?
We don't have to do a whole
right.
thing of it, but it's our second to last episode. We don't want this to end anytime soon. Ted looks at the clock. We gotta milk it all out here.
In old sports news, congratulations to the Florida Gators for winning the 2025 NCAA National Basketball Championship for the men. Winning a close game where Houston was up by 15 at one point, and coming back to win by a very slim margin. Ridiculous ending. So, you know, the final score 65-63.
Wow. So UConn could have won if they just beat Florida, which they almost did.
I thought you guys were talking about the beer scores, and I didn't want to ruin it. Who ended up winning? Florida?
And also...
Florida by 2.
Yes, Florida won. Congrats to the UConn women.
Yeah.
The Lady Huskies.
For winning. That makes 12.
It's more
Quite
than we
impressive.
have fingers.
It's true.
Barely.
Fingers plus eyeballs.
I think Gino's working on the toes now.
Oh, okay. I was going to go wisdom teeth next, but, you know.
I don't have those. No. I'm less smart. All right, so I have the Budweiser Zero, full flavored, zero alcohol brew. And this is actually interesting because unlike those posers, this actually is 0.0% alcohol.
Oh,
yeah.
And Bureau is a less than a half.
Less than a half, yeah. So
okay.
So,
I'm really curious. You probably know better than me all of Anheuser-Busch's flagship 0% offerings. Do they also have a Bud Light Zero?
I don't think so, honestly. I have not seen one.
That would be kind of funny to be like, oh, this is Budweiser Zero and Bud Light Zero. Like,
yeah.
How different can they be?
Yeah, right.
They do make a Busch Zero, though.
If you want to be responsible on a budget. Wait. So
the head looks much nicer.
The head looks nicer, but the beer is like all the way clear. This is super duper clear, like comparative to the other one that had like, you know, some darkness to it. So here we go. Let's see. It smells like a Budweiser, you know, just kind of smells like one.
Again, the hardest beer to brew in all of brewing is a Budweiser or a Bud Light or a Coors Light, one of those light beers. There's just nowhere to hide off flavors.
Now, this is going to sound weird. Like, this tastes like nothing. like,
all right, chug that, get some water.
Yeah, it really
triple review.
This does taste like there is a hint of flavor to it, but for the most part, tastes like nothing. Like,
would you call it a slint?
A slight slint. Like honestly, it almost tastes like a little banana-y, and I don't know why. It shouldn't, but it does for some reason. Like,
I could see it. It tastes like there's a banana in the next room somewhere.
Yeah. There was a banana stored near this beer at some time. Like that's
somebody put it. There's a banana peel in a trash can somewhere in this room.
Right.
Yeah.
This is actually also not great, but not as like that. The other beer was like trying to be good and did a really bad job. This one is just like it literally is water. I don't understand. Like,
it makes it really tough to do a comparative evaluation.
yeah,
whether the beer had flavors, but they might not have been good.
yeah. I mean, I guess it tastes. It does taste like a Budweiser if it had no alcohol and not as much anything and was only 50 calories. That's what this tastes like. It tastes exactly like that.
Okay, I want you to take a sip, and I'm going to say a word, and you tell me if you taste it, okay? Rice.
Maybe a little bit, like not, it's like all banana. Oops, all banana. Like, I don't know what.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I think, I think I'd rather, I don't know. I don't even know if I would rather drink this beer. I feel like it's not as bad, but like it's also not particularly good. So I'll give it like a 2, I don't know, 1.75. Like, really doesn't matter. Like,
and I will say, you have checked this beer in before.
I'm sure I have.
And you did give it a 2.
Did I? Okay. Hey, that's pretty on point.
Consistency.
Look at that.
Yeah. 3 years ago.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised I even checked it in, honestly. I must have been like cleaning up my desk and like was throwing away cans. I was like, I assume this has a ton of check-ins though.
Yes. 2,000 pounds of check-ins.
13,026. Was that a 10,000 pounds of banana joke?
No, that was a ton. That was a 2,000 pounds at a ton. It was a unit conversion joke.
Gotcha.
There are 13,026 check-ins.
Okay. I can't imagine. Okay, so the other one got a 3 point, because this is why we're doing this. The other one got a 3 point in change, which was wrong. I know
3.18.
I know
to be exact.
Bud Light's the 2.7-ish range, 2.5, 2.7, something around there. This has to be like a 2.2. 222. I'm gonna guess 222 for this one.
My friend's average are pretty close, but it's a 2.40.
Okay.
So
yeah.
It's on the contenders in terms of lowest rating times number of check-ins. If you took 5 minus number of bottle caps times total rating, this might be your highest out there because it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And it has a lot of check-ins.
Yeah.
So again, this is why we're doing this. Bud Zero gets a 2.4. Kingston Golden Pills or whatever gets a 3.18.
Something like that, yeah.
How do you feel about all that?
Not great. I mean, neither beer is good. I know Untapped just doesn't like do good with beer normally.
Or NA beer.
Or NA. Oh, well, unless it's only Athletic gets good ratings on NA beer, allegedly. So
yeah, I gotta say, yeah, they're cleaning up.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not like overly surprised, but I was more surprised by Kingston getting that high of a rating versus Buddo being this low. Like, I kind of figured it was going to be low. So,
yeah, my theory on it is that people are only getting the Kingston in the pack. So they're checking in the IPA. They're checking in the wheat, which you thought was pretty good. Yeah. So while they're at it, they're already in the mindset. Like, oh, well, let me check this last one in. They're hammered off of the first 6 NA beers they had. Yeah, this is pretty good. 3.18.
0.5% at a time.
Yeah.
But there you go. All the NA beers over here.
Well, Todd, I know you've been dying to have a beer that somebody else brewed on this show.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it was rough. It was rough in them streets for a minute there. I thought for sure I was going to have to leave this desk.
And the podcast early.
That beer's not sitting too well. Whew.
Todd says, okay, this beer's a 4. The Untapped average is a 4.25. Rate us on Spotify. Bye.
Yeah, so my handle, probably not, or yeah, my next beer is probably not the best thing to go along with this beer, but it is an Elderberry Gosa by Lawson's.
Wow.
It's a fruited sour. It is straight from the, nope, that's just their slogan. It's 5.5% ABV beer, deep purple with a violet foam. This tart treat is a touch sweet thanks to its hefty dose of elderberries. Kettle souring and a light malt base provide a pleasant pucker that gives way to a clean, refreshing, fruity sip. So, let's see if it actually is kind of purplish, which it is. Darker for sure than that. I've never actually seen an elderberry in person. I thought
you're not old enough yet.
Well, I thought for a long time, I thought elderberries were just something from Lord of the Rings. seems like it'd be a Lord of the Rings fruit.
Yeah, I think we could have a whole game on this podcast if we had like 3 more episodes where we could play like, is this a real berry or a fake berry? And like find video game berries and real berries and see if our contestants could tell the difference.
Yeah, we all know that snozberries are real, but elderberries are not. But apparently, according to Lawson's, they are. As you can see with the T-Rex test, you can see the light right through this. It's got a really nice deep red color, almost like a blood color. This would be a great Halloween beer. On the nose, it smells sour. I'm kind of doing an Obert where I'm getting a sour and a stout. Just I'm doing mine separately. Obert has had his sour and a stout mixed
in. Yeah,
I'm doing mine differently. The head quickly dissipated on this. On the nose, it smells just sour, kind of malty. I don't get a lot of fruit flavor, but I don't honestly know what an elderberry smells like. It doesn't smell like hobbits. I don't smell, Sauron or Middle Earth, so I don't really understand what's going to happen. But I'll let you know what an elderberry tastes like in a second. So, definitely a kettle sour. Probably mid on the sour scale, somewhere between green apple and green apple, for sure. It's not super puckery. Not like last week's beer where the beer was like super sour. This is calmer. An elderberry, from what I'm tasting here, kind of tastes like a mixture between a cranberry and a blueberry.
Oh, interesting.
That's kind of what my mouth gets out of this. Now, granted, it is a sour beer, so maybe it leans more like blueberry is coming from like that sourness that you sometimes get out of like a tart blueberry.
You are the fruit spurt.
But cranberries are naturally tart too. Yeah, I think that's kind of an apt description of an elderberry. Kind of a blueberry meets a cranberry.
And no matter what, it's got the antioxidants. That's all we know.
Yeah. Definitely doesn't taste like acai or raspberry or blackberry.
But is elderberry a berry?
There was a time where you told me we couldn't have this conversation on the podcast.
I had to. You know what? 2 episodes left. I felt like I had to call it back. But
I will say there's a slight hint of strawberry in the flavor as well. Which we all know, as Obert would say, that strawberries are not berries. Are blueberries berries?
We're not going there.
But apples are berries.
Oh, what did I do? I regret this immediately.
And I think grapes are berries, from what I know.
Berries are fake.
I believe berries are things that grow off of trees that have seeds inside of them. I think is the
like bananas.
Yes, bananas. Bananas are berries. Apples are berries.
Strawberries are not.
Grapes would be a berry because their seeds are on the inside.
But they're seedless grapes, so they don't count. They're like they're the bud zero fruits.
There you go. Would an avocado be a berry then?
I think so. I think for sure we should have this conversation again next episode too, because it's been too long. How do you guys feel about for a title? Seedless grapes are the bud zero of fruits of berries.
I think seedless grapes actually have a flavor. Unfortunately, that Bud Zero had no flavor.
It's true.
But Buddo, as Chris called it. I will say I've had a non-alcoholic Busch. I meant to chime in, but I was too busy trying to keep my stomach together. I've had a non-alcoholic Busch. That does have flavor to it. So I wonder, Chris, if you would like non-alcoholic Busch and go full redneck, embrace being in the South.
Maybe. I don't know. My sobriety might end next week. Who knows?
It might be the last NA beer Chris ever has might be a Busch Zero that pushes him off the wagon.
It put him back on the wagon.
Yeah.
This is a good beer. It's not a lot more to say about it. It definitely is very tart, kind of blueberry cranberry mix. Got nice carbonation.
Do you feel like you got all the purple that you paid for?
I think so. I think the can described it as violet, right? So, yeah, violet foam. I mean, I wish I would have gotten a little bit more foam. I think the foam dissipated a little bit too much. But overall, good. I wish I knew what the fucking elderberry was. Kind of looks like a blackberry on the picture with the bear eating the elderberry.
Oh, nice.
So I figured elderberries might be something.
I'm a fan of Lawson's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have some around here. So I'm a fan of Lawson's, but pretty much just their IPAs. I haven't really had any of the fruit beers. Would you say that this meets what like my expectations for like a good Lawson's beer, or would you say this is just like any brewery could make this elderberry Gosa?
I think probably a bit of both. It definitely holds up to the Lawson standard, right? It's a good tasting beer. It's got no off flavors to it. well brewed, kind of does what the can says it does, right? It's got the nice little pucker with the elderberry flavor. It's a solidly brewed beer, and that's what Lawson's is really known for, right? I mean, their IPAs, Sip of Sunshine, Little Sip, they're not anymore. They're not world-beating IPAs, right? Everybody's kind of caught up in past Lawson's when it comes to that, but Lawson's is still extremely solid at brewing everything. And I think that's what people like, right? Like they're just a good brewery. That's what this is. This is a good beer by a good brewery. In fact, the mixed 4-pack that I had from over the summer, which is where this came from, we purposely didn't buy any IPAs. We bought random other beers by them because I don't generally see non-IPAs by Lawson's in Connecticut. So overall, so far the 4-pack's been good. It's obviously taken me a very long time to drink it all. It's now April, and still working through it, but solid beer. I will give it a 4. Very well done beer. Good kettle sour. Would never return this back to the tap. Happy I had it. I kind of wish I had a few more because they're pretty good.
Sorry, it's the elderberry Gosa, right?
Correct.
Okay. That's what I had. I got confused. So there are 1,960 check-ins on this beer on Untappd.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there'd be more. I think the people are gonna like this. I think it's gonna be somewhere around a 4. Same as me. Solid beer. No, there's nothing offensive about it. I'm gonna guess what Ober did. I'm gonna go 398.
Oh, I said 399.
Oh, 3. Yeah, I'm sticking with 98.
Okay.
Well, you're one closer than if you were to do one. No. Sorry, that was misleading. One closer than if you were to have gone 99.
Oh.
It's actually
Wow.
It's actually quite a bit.
Wow.
Quite a bit lower. It's a 373.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
wow. What a mystery.
I know. I didn't.
Oh
even,
my
Yeah,
God.
that was kind of dirty.
Yeah.
I didn't even mean it like that.
Oh.
But
Okay. I mean, middle of the pack, right? I mean, I guess if you don't like the flavor of elderberry, if you're not a Hobbit fan, then I could see this being a little lower. Well, Ober, I guess that means that you got the point this week.
It does. Honks for me.
Woo.
Gooseberries all around. Honk,
Are you
honk,
going to
honk,
pass
honk,
Chris?
honk, honk.
Can you pass Chris in the next 2 episodes?
Let's take a look. We have, for listeners at home, Todd is at 54. Chris is at 46. Obert is now at 43. And based on the poll from 2 episodes ago, Chris also gets a point.
Oh, okay.
So thanks for the participation from all of our many, many listeners.
All you Chris fans
Appreciate
out
you
there.
all. Yeah, Chris, man of the people, he gets the point.
Thank you.
But Obert did get a perfect guess.
Listen, it was the people spoke.
They have spoken.
People spoke.
You know?
I mean, it doesn't even matter because we all know it's winner take all.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but let's just take a vote. I think next episode, we'll just do next point wins.
I think that's fair.
What do you guys think that sounds
I think that's fair.
Reasonable?
I vote no. I worked real hard.
Okay, all right.
I worked real hard on my lead.
Hold on.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Okay, the ayes have it,
2-1.
unfortunately, for Todd. I'm going to do next point.
Podcast champion.
Are you guys just jealous that I am the Michael Jordan of this game?
Well, then
You know what?
then it shouldn't be an issue for you next week.
I won't lie that it is a little frustrating because the whole reason we started the whiteboard was because Todd is like, I'm crushing you guys at this guessing game. I've gotten some more. And we're like, okay, if we kept track, I think we would know who really is winning. And then Todd started off with an early lead and has never been caught.
Yeah. It hasn't even
ever.
It hasn't been close. Yeah.
No. And quite frankly, it's not fair. I think, I got to give Todd credit. I think it's undisputed that he is better at guessing untapped scores than us. It's really, there's nothing else to say. Other than I got a point this week, bitches. So suck on that.
So did I.
Honk, honk, honk. Back to my honks. I'm man of the people. Obert of our Oberts over here this week. All right. I don't want to leave this second to last episode. I'm glad that we have another one. So we can get Jordan over here. Jordan, Frosty mug time. Take that mug. Jordan is now the one who's responsible for getting the mug out of the freezer over to me. So, Jordan, thank you. Thanks for the mug. Let's hear the song.
Test your handle. Test your handle. Test your handle. Test your handle.
Mug of wisdom.
Drink.
Mug of wisdom.
All right, thank you for the mug and the song. Jordan, Chris, do you have a handle this week?
I do.
And if you don't, okay. I was going to ask for like a baby handle
Oh shit.
for Tud. But if you have a regular handle that's not like go pre-order a Switch 2, then go for it.
What? That was my handle? No, it wasn't. No, actually, now do I have a baby handle on tap? Don't think so. Yeah, I was thinking earlier when we were talking about baby, like I'm curious what Tud's gonna do. Depending, I mean, it's child dependent, but like CJ wouldn't sleep through the night, so like we always, unless he was being held, and you're not supposed to sleep with the baby. Just forewarning you. So we would like force ourselves to stay awake while he sleeps, or because he wouldn't sleep otherwise. And during that time, I watched every single Royal Rumble. I played a new game of Skyrim, like just to keep myself awake. So I thought about that earlier. But anyways, no, I don't have one off the dome. I haven't had a baby in a few years, so I'm a little rusty in that regard. But I do have another video game to put over, and this one is a remaster that just came out yesterday or 2 days ago.
I was worried it was going to be a new handle, so I'm glad that it's old.
Well, when I was a kid, there was a game on the PS1 called Croc: Legend of the Gobbos, and I played that game a ton. And I don't remember how far I ever gotten it, to be completely honest with you. I just remember playing it and talking to my friends about it. Well, kind of out of the middle of nowhere, Argonauts Games, which makes Croc or has made Croc, announced that they were gonna do a remaster, and I was so excited for it because I just had so many fond memories of that game when I was a kid. So I bought it yesterday and I started playing it, and it's really fun. It's really good. It's a really nice remake. They did a good job with the graphics and upscaling and all that stuff. It definitely makes me question my bar for what a good game was when I was a child a little bit. Because I mean, I can see like a 7 or 8 year old thinking that it's challenging, but as a 37-year-old, I'm like, oh, this isn't that bad. But it's a nice little piece of nostalgia.
So, do you think that you were better at video games when you were 7 than your children?
Oh, 100
were at 7?
100%.
Like if you gave this to your kids now, they'd be like, this is hard.
Yes, 100%. Okay. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because like
why this generation is so weak,
why they're so bad at video games. But like, I don't know. At least my kids and maybe other kids are like they did not take to video games like I did when I was a child. I think we were raised back in my day, video games were harder than they are now. Like,
100%.
Sure.
Like I remember playing the Pocahontas game on the Sega Genesis. That thing was fucking impossible. Like, I don't like
the fucking Lion King.
The
game.
Lion King game. Yep. Like you have to jump on the
stupid giraffes. Oh my god.
Before I had a video game console in my house, I would go to an arcade and I would pay money to a game that was incentivized to make you lose as fast as possible to pay more money. Like, this was my experience with video games. You had to get good.
Yeah.
Like, it costs you money if you were bad at video games.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say that, and Chris, you definitely know this more than me. The Nintendo games that we played when we were kids, right? Mm-hmm. Super Mario, yep. Super Mario 2, Super Mario 3 were difficult Mario games.
Yeah.
Now, if you put Mario Odyssey in the Switch, you can put on like kid mode where like you can't die.
That's also very true.
So like the kids aren't forced to survive.
Get good, as they say.
Yeah, But like even like on the 2D Mario scrollers where you could be like, all right, well, you're going to die in 3D Mario Odyssey. I can understand maybe not understanding 3D perceptual view, right? Even though we played the fuck out of Spyro, which was 3D,
true.
and that was a difficult game.
True.
But or Ape Escape, which was still to this day one of the hardest games I've ever played. I wish they would remake that.
I think they did, and I was a big Ape Escape fan too.
But like nowadays, you can't like imagine if you played Super Mario 1 and couldn't die.
Yeah.
Like it took me months to get off the second level of Mario.
That's the thing too, is like, I guess, to complete the back in my day rant, there was nothing else. You had no other options. Like you would spend your hard-earned money on one video game. You would bring it home. It would suck, but you would keep playing it because like you just had to get further, and you would die over and over and over and over again on the same level. And you just had to get good.
And like, I mean, listen, we're clearly on a rant here, but like, do you know how frustrating it is to get so far in a game? Like I'm thinking of like the first couple Sonic games, and then you die and you're like, oh, back to the first level.
Game over.
That's it. You're done.
Or like you have to leave and like your mom turns your Sega Genesis off. And in Sonic 1, they didn't save the level. So like you went back, Act 1, Level 1.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like, I think it was Sonic and Knuckles is the first game I remember that had like save game spots.
Yeah. Sonic and Knuckles had it. And there was another one I was just thinking of. I think Super Mario World had it, right? For the SNES. Like, I think that's when they started to start.
Did that come first, or was it 3 was the first one?
Did 3 have it?
When did Zelda come out? Because Zelda had saves.
Not Zelda 1 or 2.
Zelda 1 didn't have save?
I don't think so.
You had to beat it while that's a long game.
Listen, I don't remember. We'll have to look it up.
It's true.
You all remember the codes? You remember the codes that you'd write down where it's like, we don't have saves, but we'll give you a code to get back to this level.
Yeah.
I think I still know the Aladdin code. To skip the level in Aladdin.
They just I say just like that you can buy Aladdin and I think Lion King like on a combo. I almost bought it, but I was like,
I debated it.
I was like, I don't know if I hate myself that much. But anyways, getting back on track. Number one, check out the remaster of Croc: Legend of the Gobbos. If you played it as a kid, it's a good nostalgia boost. And number 2, get better at video games, kids. Like, suck it up.
If you're a 7-year-old savant, maybe Crocs is a good game for you.
Yeah. Man, kids these days.
I mean, just give your kid Dark Souls 1 and just be like, figure it out.
I mean, honestly, like that. That's like the one game nowadays that's like hard, right? Like Dark Souls, that whole
all the Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Elder Scrolls, Bloodborne. I think that's their games. Oh, and Demon Souls.
I am curious though that if you took me now, no training, whatever, warped back in time, all of a sudden I'm on the couch next to like 10-year-old me with Super Smash Brothers, the original, on the N64. Who would win? I think old me would lose to kid me who like knew, like I would pick up a N64 controller right now and be like, how do I hold this thing? And meanwhile I'd be like down 2 stocks already.
I don't have 3 hands. Yeah. That's probably fair. I mean, in the height of Super Smash, like I played that game a lot. I played Super Smash a lot, and I wasn't even that good. Like, but I played as Yoshi the whole time.
Yeah. Do you think if you were to play Pokemon Stadium against 12-year-old you, do you think that 12-year-old you would?
No,
win?
I think I could kick my own ass, and I think 37-year-old me is gonna destroy 12-year-old me in any Pokemon. Like.
Fair enough.
I think
he's more dexterous now.
Not only that, but like I know, like I've forgotten more about Pokemon than I knew back then. So, but anyways, get good at games again. Make America good at games again.
Nice, quick, short handle there. Yeah.
All right, who wants to go next?
I guess it's me. Okay, Todd, you get middle handle. You get the cream of our Oreo.
Okay, I'm gonna give another video game.
Oh no.
It's actually a game that I've been playing and I'm actually enjoying, and I actually think I might make it through this whole game. The game's called Avowed. It's made by Obsidian. I think it's only on computers and Xboxes. If you have Game Pass, it's included for free. It's set in the Pillars of Eternity world. Pillars of Eternity is a CRPG or a standard RPG like Baldur's Gate 2, Baldur's Gate 3, like basically turn-based combat. Well, Avowed is a first-person like Skyrim game set in the same universe as some turn-based games. You play as like a what they call a godlike, which is somebody who like a person that's born and is in the image of a god, but other than that, like you're kind of special, but that's how the story goes. You're trying to defeat the world from dying from demon vines, and it's surprisingly good. It's not open world, it's open area. So when you beat one area, you move on to the next area. I believe there's 4 areas. I'm on area 3. So I do actually think I might beat this game. I have come up with a solution on how to beat a game this large, and it is I run to the main objective. I play through the main objective, and if I happen to pass a quest, like a side quest on the way, I complete the side quest, and then I continue on to the main mission. I have skipped numerous side quests, and I've just been trying to push forward with just playing the main story. It seems to be working out. I may have solved my inability to beat video games. This is a good option, but I think this game's also really good. It's just, I like Obsidian. I always liked Fallout New Vegas. I like their other games. They're a good publisher, and this is a very unique game by them.
This sounds like a Tud handle for Tud. Like this is like if Tud's trying to give a handle to himself of like how to beat video games that are too expansive nowadays.
Yeah, and then when I beat the main mission, like or the main story that I'm going to, I fast travel back to the town. I don't walk back. I only walk to the mission, and I fast travel back. That way, I don't get sidetracked with other side missions. I only play side missions that are on my way to the main quest I'm walking to. Other than that, I fast travel back.
I like it. Well, hopefully you finish. You're 3/4 of the way there. At this point, you're like right in the meat of it, you know?
Yeah, and I'm having a good time.
Good. All right, well, I guess I'll go last. I'll do a TV show. This is a Max show, formerly known as HBO. Been watching The Pitt. It's medical drama. I know, Chris, you were a fan of 2 of those, the dramedies, at least. This is more drama, less D. This is, I think it's reminiscent of ER, and disclaimer, I never watched ER as a child.
I like ER. Now you got my attention.
But this actually, it's called The Pitt because it takes place in Pittsburgh at the hospital, and it's their emergency room. And the main doctor, Dr. Robbie, calls it The Pitt. But Dr. Robbie, I guess, was on ER. Now he, like the actor was. So he, I don't say kind of reprised the role, but now he's in charge of the emergency room for this hospital in Pittsburgh. And obviously, and it's takes like a 24 like vibe where every episode is an hour of one shift in the emergency room. I think there's 15 episodes in season 1, which is like, that's a long shift, but you do you. It follows a day in which some new, what do you call the interns? The future doctors, new residents show up. So it's their first day in the ER, and they all have to learn how to interact with each other, and they're learning. And of course, there's the crazy cases that come in with like wild stuff in the ER, and there's all kinds of drama. But if you're a fan of the show Emergency Room, aka ER, back in the 90s, I think you'll like this one. It's really good. They say doctor words a lot. They're like, it really feels like that they did their research as far as what actually happens.
Pulmonary embolism.
Yeah, they say those things. They're reading blood pressure numbers. They're checking pulses. They're checking vitals. It's pretty. It seems to me pretty accurate as to what happens. Like once they get these patients, maybe not the fact that they have 100 of these crazy cases in a day, right? But it is a good show. I'm really enjoying it. If you like DR or other doctor shows, check it out. I don't even like those kinds of shows, but this one's got me hooked. So not a typical Obert handle for me, but I think everyone should check out The Pitt.
I think it's pronounced
Oh, sorry. The emergency rumor.
Well, cool. With that, we'd like to thank you all for listening. We'd like to thank the breweries who provided today's beers. First, I guess I'll thank Chris and myself for my first beer. So thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
And I'll also thank Lawson's for their elderberry gosa.
I would like to thank Bureau for their Kingston Golden Pills and Anheuser-Busch for their Budweiser Zero.
And I'll thank Thirsty Street for their badass sour stout ale.
Thank you for listening. Keep on sending in those clips for next week's episode. No, 2 weeks? Next week. This is
Next
67.
episode.
Next episode. That's it. So send in those clips. Direct
Time's
over where
running
to
out,
go.
honestly. Yeah.
We don't have much more time.
I'm closing submissions on the day after this episode comes out, the 18th. So, yeah, get to it. Do it tonight so I can have time to work on it.
Right. And with that, my name's Dud.
My name's Chris.
And I'm Obert. And if you're drinking alone, do it with friends. You guys think you can work in a hospital?
No, absolutely not. I'm not built for that kind of lifestyle.
I shadowed to be a medical sales rep and was in an OR when some lady got her hip replaced.
And that was enough.
Gross.
No, I actually kind of liked it, but I didn't want to work the crappy hours that doctors have to work. So, blood doesn't bother me, which is weird.
Yeah, there is definitely, I will say about the Pit, not a show that I can watch while eating dinner. I'm like, I don't need to see no third-degree burns while I'm trying to eat my cheeseburger. You know what I mean?